Welcome to another episode of Black Nail Knives. I'm Royce, and today we have a 24-hour day one back in with the Strider .75 AR. Now, I've had this knife for about, I say today's like the fourth day I've had this knife. And I didn't get a chance to actually carry it until the day before yesterday. I started to carry it, and then I was like, you know what? I was a little busy. I had to run around. I couldn't really get to carry it. So then I said, you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to carry this knife 24 hours. So I took this knife. I opened it up, because I usually pack them up while I'm on the road because we're in hotels every night, different hotels. And I left it unpacked in the bed with me. Literally in the bed with me. I had this knife I was sleeping with. Now, I can't do that when I'm at home. Corinne will go crazy. She's like, no. There's only so much she'll take when it comes to knives. Even though, she has her own knife now. She made me give it to her, but whatever. So, I'm just going to say, I had this knife in bed with me. I woke up and I'm like, oh, that's right. 24 hours. So, I kept the knife with me the whole time. Even when I woke up, I went to the bathroom, shower, wash up. I had the knife right there, opened up on top of, on the sink, just waiting for me. Took the knife, basically put it in my pocket, in the place of my work knife, which is the Benchmade Griptilian, the full size with the G10 scales, black Warncliffe. Is it Warncliffe? No, that's a sheep's foot, Yeah, that's a sheep's foot, that's right. Serrated sheep's foot. So I had this knife in place of my work knife. So I wasn't using the work knife. I was just using this all day, the complete whole day. I even stripped a couple of wires with it. I didn't have to, but I felt like it. I usually do it with the Griptilian if I don't have my linesman. So stripped a piece of wire with it, played with it. One thing I gotta say about this knife, it's heavy. It's just 7 ounces, but it's sharp. I'm talking about razor sharp. This is the one from DLT Trading, so it's S90. I know you can see a bunch of smudges on the blade. I literally haven't cleaned it. But dude, this knife, this S90V is so damn sharp. It's like a razor. And even after using it, I don't know if you guys can see that blade, but it didn't do anything, like not even a nick. Look at that, perfectly smooth still. And I'm talking about cutting into thick, hard plastic on 750 MCM and then slicing that plastic back to the copper, cutting into the copper and nothing. I'm like, dude, you're gonna mess up the knife. This is what's going on in the back of my head, knowing how much these knives are. And then I'm like, you know what? I've got to use this thing for 24 hours. So I've used it for 24 hours. It looks like it too. It's starting to look like it. One thing I did notice, it feels like it's getting blade stick. So I'm gonna have to work that out. And it's kind of working its way out as to being smoother. It's getting much smoother, but like I said when I first got this is a great knife, but one thing I hate about it is this part right here. To disengage the lock, they should have like chamfered it or something. I may just even like take a piece of a file or something to just file this down and make it smoother. It's ridiculous how much it hurts. Look at that finger. Just using this knife and playing with it while I'm driving around in the work van, from location to location, nothing else to do. It's like, this thing kills your fingers. I can't even do it with my thumb anymore. It's working out though. But I can't even disengage the lock with my thumb. That's how, there you go, but that's how painful it is. Look at that indentation. So that's the one drawback I could say about this knife, besides it being a great knife. It's fucking rough on that edge. It fits into your hand perfect, especially when I was stripping a wire, I was using a choil. It's perfect, like, cause you wanna be, you go around that wire, you wanna be perfect, you wanna take your time, you don't wanna cut through it and go crazy, but everything is perfect. I would give this knife simply because of that, an 8 out of 10. If this lock wasn't that stiff and wasn't that hard, you know, I'm gonna fix the lock stick, but if it wasn't like that, I would say a 10. This knife would be a 10. It's the weight I like. I love the weight. I love the configuration. Blue, obviously. You know, I like that. Blue titanium. You know? And then the stonewash titanium. Except for this pivot. The pivot, I'm sure they could have made that silver or something. They could have used stainless or whatever. But besides that, this knife is great. But this lock, to disengage this lock, it hurts a lot. Now I was doing it with the index. Now I'm doing it with my index and my middle finger at the same time, because that's how painful it is. It's really that painful. Now, right here on the outside, it looks like they thought about it and they made it nice and smooth. It graduates up, but here it steps down, but it's still, the way it steps down, it's still sharp. It's rough as, you know. It's crazy. I'm hoping that the more I use it, it'll loosen up. But another knife I noticed that I have here, but I haven't taken it out of the box because they just shipped it back to me from DLT Trading, is the Slim Flipper, the Praetorian Slim Flipper. Same exact thing. Every other Praetorian is like, it's perfect. You do it with your thumb, you never have an issue. No, it never hurts. But I gotta say it, the Slim Praetorian Flipper and this knife right here, this Strider .75 AR or 3/4 AR, it's a thumb killer, man. It's a thumb killer. It really is. But 24 hours with this thing, man, I loved it. It felt great. I was thinking about putting a lanyard on here too, like a cable lanyard, but it'll probably scuff this up. But that way I could hold, you know, hang it from my tool belt. This thing is gonna get used. Most of my knives get used, especially at work. But yeah, I'm thinking about hanging this from my tool belt. Let me do it. Man, this knife is perfect. Like ergonomics, even if I, you know, I'm back here on it, or if I choke up, it's still perfect. It's just a perfect knife. It's, well, almost perfect. It could be perfect if they would have just thought about that. Maybe Medford wants to keep you buying their Medfords and not so many of their, you know, the Striders they're producing for mixed Strider. But so that's why they did that. But yeah, and honestly, this opening, you know, the thumb flick it out, it's sharp. It's extremely sharp. Now that does remind me of the Medfords, you know, the newer models. They're all pretty sharp, but they're not that sharp. And the older models, the older ones are always smoothed, you know. They were smoothed out, but I guess guys get a good grip, so they probably, maybe they started complaining or whatever it was. That was before my time with Medford. But this Strider 3/4 AR, I know a guy with those initials. This thing is perfect, man. Well, next to perfect. When you're sitting next to perfect, sometimes people think you're pretty perfect. So that's it. That's my little 24-hour review. I carried this thing 24 hours. Like I said, I went to work with it, came home from work, back in the shower. Of course, this was right in the bathroom with me the whole time, washing up, watching a little Netflix before I went to bed at like 1, 2 in the morning. So I was definitely up over 24 hours. This thing was in the bed with me and everything, and I really enjoyed it. So I think this is gonna be a great knife. It's gonna definitely be a great keeper for me. Yeah, I love it. Well, Black Nail Knives, I'm Royce, and remember, gots to be more careful.